Here we go again. We talked earlier about how T and B cells are created inside myeloid tissue. T cell goes to the thymus college, about 2 or 3 days of study right there, 98% kill off rate, 2% graduation rate, and they become naive T cells. We said that the B cells are educated inside the bone marrow, homeschooled. They come out and they're naive also. Well, next story right here is how do those naive cells become mature? We'll start off with the idea that here is some kind of object that your body might want to react to. It could be a pathogen with an antigen on it and then an antigenic determinant on top of or part of the antigen. It could be a cell. It could be some object like a virus, but there is that antigenic determinant, that little piece of a molecule that is going to be the trigger, the thing that the T cells and B cells learn in their college days to be their one and only target. Here's the storyline. Let's say that an APC, a dendritic cell, macrophage, or B cell, runs into this object. They encounter, they attach, and they engulf the thing. They bring it inside, make a phagosome, it becomes a phagolysosome, then they process that thing and take a piece of it, the antigenic determinant, and present it on their surface. The place where they present it is on the MHC2, which you remember only the APCs, the hunters, have. The APCs then go strutting down through rows and rows of helper T cells and cytotoxic T cells and B cells and all kinds of things, trying to see if anybody is interested in this antigenic determinant. If this happens to be the target that particular cell is educated to respond to. And most of the T cells will ignore it because it's not their particular target. However, when the APC bumps into a helper T cell that does have that as their target, then there's a reaction. And the reaction is the MHC2 connects to a TCR, T cell receptor, and it's like a handshake. If the helper T cell recognizes the antigenic determinant as its target, it clamps onto the thing, and this little structure called a CD4 comes down, again like a clamp, and hangs on to that APC so it doesn't get away. Now the excited, activated helper T cell begins to produce a group of interleukins. One of those is sort of complimentary of, you did it, this is fantastic, this is wonderful. Another group of interleukins will go out there and tell cytotoxic T cells, naive cytotoxic T cells, that the target that we have in common has shown up and you should get excited. It will also produce other interleukins, like this is interleukin 2, this is interleukin 4. It produces this interleukin to tell B cells that happen to have that same target as their college major, their college target, that yes, it has shown up, and this interleukin 4 right here activates that B cell. So even though the cytotoxic T cell and this B cell didn't actually encounter the APC and didn't actually encounter the antigenic determinant, they have been told by the interleukins from the helper T cell that the target does exist out there somewhere. It activates the killer T cells, the cytotoxic T cells, it activates the B cells. Now, when activated, the helper T cells will clone themselves. They'll produce a large number of helper T cells with the same idea. And now this single voice right here becomes a chorus. And the amount of chemicals being released is now enhanced. So it's a louder warning than ever before. But also a memory helper T cell will be produced. And the memory helper T cell will not join the fight right now. It sits down for the next time that there is a fight. The interleukin that goes to the cytotoxic T cells is interleukin 2 right here. Will mature, activate this cytotoxic T cell, and it also will clone itself and produce copies, active copies of itself, and these guys are ready to go out there and hunt and kill. So they will rush away from the lymphoid tissue. They go out there, they try to find that target right there and kill the thing that is associated with. But also, there is a memory cytotoxic T cells that will sit down. They will not join the battle this time. They'll join it the next time something happens. Okay, down here, there's interleukin 4. Interleukin 4 produced by the helper T cell will stimulate like-minded B cells, ones that have the same target, to get excited, get activated, and they clone themselves. Now, their new copies are called plasma cells, and the plasma cells will actively make the antibody against that one specific target, that one specific antigenic determinant. And the antibodies are then flushed away from the plasma cells and out into the body. But the activated B cell also makes a copy of itself, a memory cell, which does nothing now. But it will wait, like these other memory cells, for the next time that the antigenic determinant shows up, the next time there's a battle of sorts. The last part of this thing right here is the helper T cell does make specific interleukins for like-minded cytotoxic T cells and B cells. But it does produce a kind of a generic group of cytokines that activate macrophages and dendritic cells to go back out there and do their job, continue to do their job. And so for them, they rush back out there, and what they're doing is trying to find and perhaps kill and process any target, any potential target. So the cytotoxic T cells, once activated, rush out to find and kill that specific target. These APs and other white blood cells are activated to rush out and find and kill any target that they don't recognize. And the B cells, like-minded B cells, are activated. They don't rush out. Instead, they flush antibodies out into the fluids of the body, and then the fluids carry the weapon out there. Okay. By the way, HIV virus attacks helper T cells, and by doing so, it shuts down all this communication right here. And that's why HIV, human immunovirus, causes AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, because you stop this coordination of all these parts of your immune system, including these APCs right here. So without the helper T cells communicating so efficiently, the attack is uncoordinated against this invading virus and other existing diseases. So people don't really die from HIV, they die from secondary diseases that are not being suppressed by this coordinated attack right here.